we're going to talk about numbers 0 through 30. So we went through the alphabet, and you guys are going to notice that a lot of these numbers have a lot of vowels in them. So remember, the letter A is A, the letter E is A, the letter I is E, the letter U is U, and the letter O is O. So you want to make sure you keep it short when you pronounce it. So we'll go through each column separately. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, the Z is soft. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. ¿Qué número es? ¿Es el número 6 o 5? Muy bien, 5. ¿Y qué número es? 7. ¿Y qué número es? 2. ¿Y este? 4 o 3. Muy bien, 3. 10 o 9. Es el número 9. ¿Y qué tenemos? 1 o 10. 10, muy bien. Let's go to the next column. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you want to pay attention to numbers 11 through 15 because they're not going to follow that pattern like 16 through 19 where it's 10 and 6, 10 and 7. So it's not like with 11 through 15 it's 1 and 5 or 10 and 11. All right, so we get 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So with 16 through 19, in just the second column, where you see the accent mark, include it. That's where we need to add the stress. All right, so let's practice. ¿Qué número es? 5 o 15? 15, muy bien. What's our number? 20. ¿Qué número es? 13 o 14? Muy bien, 14. 9 o 19? 19, muy bien. ¿Y qué tenemos? 20 o 12? 12. ¿Y qué tenemos? ¿Qué número es? 13, muy bien. And let's do one more. 16 o 17? 17, muy bien. Remember that 6 is 6, 7 is 7. So in this case, we get 17. And let's look at the third column. So from 16 through 19, we had 10 and like 6 or 10 and 7. When we get from 21 through 29, we're going to go 20 and 1, 20 and 2. So they'll follow all of them that pattern. Keep in mind that the number 20, 20, ends in E. When we want to make it 21 through 29, that E becomes an I. Right, so pay attention to the spelling change. Just like with the second column, where you see the accent marks, put the stress when you pronounce it. When you write it, you have to include it. So get 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Right, so 20 is 20. This is where that sound of the vowel is important. 30 is 30. So remember the letter A is A. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Let's practice. ¿Qué número es? 26. ¿Y qué tenemos? 30, 14 o 24. 24. ¿Qué número es? 29. 13 o 23. 23. ¿Qué número es? 21. Muy bien. So let's take it from the top. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, so let's practice all these. ¿Qué número es? When you see the number pop up, identify what it is. 7, 16, 29, 1, 0, 15, 21, 9, 23, 11, 30, 4, 12, and one more, 28. Muy bien. Okay, so in the ojo box, it lets us know like uno, dos, so we can get 21, 22, but 21 can become like un señor, we can have one señor or 21 señores, or una señora. If we have 21 of them, it becomes 21. Basically what this means is that the number has to agree in gender, but don't focus on this as much because we'll cover gender in a different concept. But just be aware that when you see that, it's just changing the number itself, and it only happens with 1. But it's 1, 21, that can change, but 11 won't change. And there's one more thing about numbers, I. So with I, this is H-A-Y. Remember that the H is silent. I means there is, there are. So when we ask a question, we put I at the beginning and it becomes is there or are there. We can make it negative, there aren't or there is not, and we say no I. So I will always agree, whether it's singular or plural, like there's one man, there are 50 men, it's always going to be I. So let's look at the example. Hay un teatro en esta universidad, pero no hay museo. So there's a theater at this university, but there isn't a museum. Put that no if there isn't one immediately before I. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? ¿Cuántos is how many? How many students are there in the class? So we're talking about more than one student, but it's still I. There is, there are. Hay 30. There are 30. So remember that I, we can use it a lot to express the number of things. How many of what are there? Or how many, in this case, is. There is a theater. There is not a museum. So either way, I is, there is, there are. So think about, for example, how many people are in your family? Hay 10 personas, hay 2 personas, hay una persona. How can we change it? We can change the number, but we always keep I is exactly how it is. Remember that the H is silent. So it looks like hey, but it's pronounced I.